We haven't seen you fight since last October. Where have you been?
Well, the April 25th, I had a great camp leading up to the fight. Kevin Kroom was in a world of hurt when I was coming into that fight, and I got to train with some of the best people in the world. In wrestling, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, everything was legitimately. I was training with 5-time world champions. In both sports. Collegiate wrestlers. So, I had every tool at my disposal. And around April 25th, I believe, April 28th, just right at the end, I think it was like 2 weeks or a week and a half away from my title fight, which was May 9th, I ended up getting injured pretty bad and having to go to an orthopedic surgeon to see the full extent. Had to get an MRI, and now that it's out there, a couple people reported, I don't know, the MFC said that it was a significant lower body injury and basically lied and made up what the injury was when I told them I didn't want to disclose it at all. But now that the dust has settled and everything, I had dislocated my shoulder, and it was, I had really limited mobility. And now that I've been doing my physical therapy and everything, my orthopedist says everything's looking back to normal, and I should be back before the end of the year, man. So I've just been trying to stay healthy and stay positive and kind of, just keep staying optimistic.
So you'll be fighting again by the end of the year?
I'm hoping to be fighting by the end of the year for sure.
Do you know who that's going to be?
I've already been out, like you said, for almost, it'll be a year in October. And this is already the longest hiatus I've ever had in my career.
And do you know who your next opponent is going to be?
They had that Kevin Kroom fight was the number one contender fight for Maximum Fighting Championship. So it was Kevin Kroom versus Jesse Brock, and Jesse Brock actually took that fight on 2 weeks' notice and came in and beat up Kevin Kroom with a split decision. I mean, it was a split decision, unanimous decision, something like that. But it was a pretty good little win for him. So I think Jesse Brock's what they have on the itinerary right now, and that's for the foreseeable future, I guess. I still haven't even gotten my MSC contract expires tomorrow, and I've still yet to receive any sort of notification from Mark about if I'm going to be signing again or if he's interested in re-signing me. So
I don't see why he wouldn't be. You're 11-1, and you're an interesting fighter to watch. I don't see why you wouldn't get signed again.
That's what I'm waiting. So I don't know if he's waiting for the last day to make his offer or what. But I feel like I've done a lot for the promotion. I've gotten the
absolutely.
MSC in Sports Illustrated. I've gotten them in Fight Magazine. It was I think I did a pretty good job of promoting the organization since I've been there. Putting on a Fight of the Year against Ryan Benoit. So like I said, it's kind of, I don't know. I guess I'm more anxious than anything to see. What the new offer is, but I definitely don't have anything in hand. So we know how this business goes. If it's not in hand and no one signed on the dotted line, then it's all just
That's really strange. I wasn't aware of that. I'm surprised you haven't gotten a new contract already.
Yeah, and me too. So it's anxious meets frustration. I suppose. And I was kind of frustrated that Mark chose to hold me out on the January card, MFC 39. He had Sam Alvey and Anthony Hamilton both defend their titles. And as we know, Sam Alvey's moved on to the UFC, and he's fighting, coming up in May, I think it's, in May, August 16th on UFC Fight Night. So, and Anthony Hamilton just recently fought. So I think I'm the last champion to try to hang around, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm just hoping something comes within the next 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. So you're an 11-1 pro fighter with only 2 of those fights ending in a decision, but both of them being unanimously decided. You've won 140 out of your 170 high school matches. You're the MFC bantamweight champion, as well as winning many other championships previously. Why do you think you've been so successful? Are you a superhuman? Do you not ever sleep and just train around the clock? Why do you think you've been so successful so far?
You know what, man? Starting from a young age, I had a very, very, very good work ethic instilled by my grandfather and my uncles. They all worked for a mine here in Arizona, And I mean, I watched my grandfather's 89, and only as of 3 years ago did he really start behaving like an elderly gentleman. I mean, up until about 86, what was I? Yeah, I was 25, so that was 3 years ago. He was beating me in arm wrestling like no shit. The guy's about my size, and he was just mashing me in arm wrestling. My little brother
At 86 years old.
At 86 years old, I shit you not, dude. He was beating me and my little brother, who's a linebacker for Eastern Washington. He's 6'3", 260 pounds. My grandfather would beat us at arm wrestling.
Wow. So
and
athleticism just seems to run in the family?
he took a stumble and ended up having a stroke, and now he actually is an older man. He acts like an old man, but up until about 3 years ago, he was working every day at the mine. He was still driving D5 bulldozers, and it's that kind of work ethic that I really took from a young age and put it into my mixed martial arts training. And you know what, man? I can sleep when I'm dead, but right now I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win gold every day.
And you've done it quite a bit. What would you say has been your most challenging accomplishment so far?
Man, obviously just being a world champion for the MFC, and making the transition over from wrestling to jiu-jitsu and taking silver at BJJ World last year was a pretty big feather in my hat. I'm going to go back this year and actually cut weight and try to take it at a smaller weight class and bring back a gold medal so I can be two-time world champion. That'd be pretty cool.
You're going to try to fight 125 now?
No. For jiu-jitsu, I think the weight class goes from 126 to 137, I think.
Okay.
But that's with a gi on, and that's like 15-minute weigh-in to mat turnaround. So if I can figure out how to hydrate properly and get my wits about me to compete, 5 to 7 matches, I think I have a good chance of winning a BJJ world title.
Oh, so you won another championship. How many championships would that be now? Is that 9?
Yeah, well, four Greco-Roman state championships, 3 freestyle state championships,
and the MFC championship.
And the MFC championship. So
that would be 9.
8 or 9, yeah.
Wow. You could have an entire trophy room of just your championships. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, man. The only thing that I don't have that I would trade I would trade a couple of those the championships for is my Arizona State title for high school. I was in the finals my junior year, got injured my senior year, made it to the semifinals, and tweaked my I had like a chest bone that was out of place.
Mhm.
And I tweaked that and ended up losing by 2 points in the semifinals.
Just by 2 points.
You know what I mean? So that was heartbreaking for me.
Oh man.
To come so far and just come up just so short.
Yeah. So what would you say has been your most rewarding accomplishment so far? Would you say that has been the MFC champion? Getting the MFC championship?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Because that has really brought me and my family the recognition. Me, my family, and my team for sure the recognition. It's just been something that has opened so many new doors and opportunities to train at gyms, sponsorships. I'm training full time, so I literally, the only time that I do manual labor or any type of having a quote unquote job is I go, and my uncle owns 2 roof companies, so I'll go do a couple jobs for him, to make kind of a couple $100 here and there. But other than that, sponsors make the training life possible. So it's been, being a champion has been able to continue to open doors and let me train full time and dedicate all my time to this sport.
Mhm. And how does it feel to become a champion? Like do you just wake up in the morning just thinking wow, I'm a champion? How does that feel?
Yeah, it's really surreal. You know what I mean? The first couple of days, it was just man, I did it. You know what I mean? And leading up, all the problems I had leading up to that fight, I told Mark, hey, look, I have every reason to pull out of this fight. So leading up to my Tito Jones title fight, my brother committed suicide. I had a baby 5 days after that, and then my main cornerman Ed West told me he couldn't go. So I was just in shambles all the way around. I was up, I was down, I was, it was just there was such a spectrum of human emotion that went through, to continue my training and really use it and focus and
you still pulled
and come
through.
out on top. Really made everything like all the more sweeter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that happened.
Yeah, and I say brother because I've been with it. He was with me since high school, and he was a professional fighter as well. His name's Freddie Lux. He was one of my best friends growing up. We wrestled all throughout high school together. We wrestled in college together. We missed each other for about a year, and then we both jumped into MMA together under Drew Fickett. And we were training. We've been training partners forever, man. So that guy was a big part of my family, a big part of my training life, and for that to happen, and then a couple days later, my second son, Jet Birchak, was born. It was a roller coaster, man. You could imagine. I told Mark, like, dude, I'm like one more little problem away from calling this fight off, and I'm really glad I did it, man. Because at the end of the day, all that adversity and strife that happened was, made me a better champion for it. And now I'm just trying to, pay it forward to kids and stuff. And, it's been a journey for sure.
And were you worried that you wouldn't be able to perform as well because of all that emotional trauma, I guess you'd say, like leading up to the fight?
Absolutely. That's just distraction after distraction, you know what I mean? And then when my coach said, hey, bud, I'm not going to be able to go, I was like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, who am I going to take? Who do I trust enough to take up there with me? Who do I want that knows my style? Who knows, what kind of coaching I need, and, fortunately, one of my training partners and good friend, Casey Kenny, who's a two-stripe judo black belt and wrestler for the University of Indianapolis, I took him with me. I took one of my best friends, Lenny Wong, who's my nutritionist and just overall, good buddy. And then while I was up there, Luke Hayabusa Harris, who's just in the recent Ultimate Fighter House, Canada versus Australia, he ended up getting my corner. So I think their energy of going into the fight really kept me focused and really kept me on task. And I can't thank those three gentlemen enough.
And that makes it all the more impressive that you won that fight. I'm really impressed. So,
thanks, man. That wasn't my intention to impress anybody with that, but I'm just saying, like, if I could tell anybody something, it's like literally life is going to shit on you, and it just depends how. Life is going to shit on you, man, and it just depends how you deal with it. And if you want something bad enough, you will stay focused, stay true to your heart, and continue.
Yes, what separates the champions from the non-champions, I guess you'd say.
Dude, absolutely, man, absolutely.
So all but one of your submission victories was by a choke. Why do you prefer chokes over something else? Is it just a coincidence because that's what's open, or like do you go for that?
Nah, bro. That's what we're taught, man. I'm a part of the BJJ revolution. My jiu-jitsu coach was my first jiu-jitsu coach was Drew Fickett, and if you look at Drew Fickett's record, the guy's got 60 plus fights and has the number one. He has the number one spot for most submission victories via rear naked choke. So that's just rear naked. That guy, my darts and my rear naked are probably my favorite chokes. You know what I mean? But it's just I see them through wrestling, just constantly having forward neck control and head and arm control. I think it's just second nature to me. As soon as someone goes to react, I see that throat wide open, and I'm like a pit bull, man. You give me your neck, and I'm gonna shoot off.
Is that because once you've got somebody in a choke, it's pretty much guaranteed that they won't get out?
Instead of like what, man? Ryan Benoit is the only cat to ever get out of one of my submissions. Really? Yeah, Ryan Benoit, man. That guy's got some heart, and
oh yeah, I know. I've interviewed him as well, actually.
I had a tight ass rear naked choke on him in the first round, and I told him, I said, he was being a smart ass to me, and I would tell him, dude, I'm gonna finish you. I'm gonna tell you exactly how I'm gonna finish you. And I told him, I'm gonna choke you out, rear naked choke, dude. You're gonna give me your back, and I'm gonna choke you out. And sure enough, I got it, and I sunk it in deep, and I was like, this kid's going to sleep. And I was like, he's probably not gonna tap. I'm probably gonna have to put him to sleep. And sure enough, man, the kid didn't tap. I juiced my arms out and he got out.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. He got out of a triangle. Like I passed it. I choked him out in a triangle too at the end of the second round, and his cornerman had to run from his corner, pick him up off the canvas in my corner, and drag him back to his stool.
Wow. And you fought him twice, right?
No, Benoit I only fought him once.
Oh, okay. And so out of all your fights, who would you say was the most challenging? Would that be Ryan Benoit or would that be Jorge Clay?
George Clay was just a bad matchup. You know, I mean, I was young. I thought I had the world by the balls. I was 6-0 with 6 submission finishes. You know, and I was going down to Brazil. My manager at the time was not having my best interest at heart, and you know, he told me, "Oh, you should fight up a weight class. You're good enough to fight up a weight class." I'm 11-1, and I am still undefeated at 135. That fight was at 145 pounds.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing of it is I think probably Ryan Benoit was probably my most challenging and most enjoyable by far.
Yeah, it was a brawl for 3 rounds. It was a great fight to watch. I'd definitely say it was most enjoyable. So what made your fight with George Clay different than the others? Is it just because he had 10 more pounds of muscle, or because you've dominated the rest of your competition, but he submitted you in the first round? So, like, what was different about him?
I mean, there was a culmination of things. I mean, I broke my hand. Like the first big punch I landed on him on the side of his head, I broke my hand.
Really?
And
after the first punch?
That was the first time. That was the first time I've ever been injured, seen blood or anything in one of my fights. So I think it kind of spooked me, you know, and I felt like my hand go numb and I couldn't really use it. And what pissed me off is I pride myself on not getting taken down, and for a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy to take me down was kind of hurting my ego, I suppose, because you know, the
well,
thing
it's kind of hard to stay on your feet with a broken limb.
I had never been taken down at that point.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to stay on your feet with a broken limb, so that's understandable.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just a hand. So as soon as I fell down, he took my back. I shook him off, and that's when I landed that really, really big punch to his temple. And I could have taken his back at the time. I strayed away from the game plan and wanted to strike with him because I knew he was a BJJ black belt. And at that time, my striking was nowhere near where it's at now. So, you know, he took me down again, took my back for a second time. And you better count your stars if you get a BJJ black belt off your back one time. So the second time that he took my back, he stuck a choke in. I couldn't shake him off. He sprawled me out, and it wasn't even a blood choke. It was like a trachea tap. So it was actually the same exact choke that I choked Tito Jones out with.
So if you could go back to that fight and fight it differently to get a perfect 12-0 record, what would you do differently? Would you not try to strike with him anymore?
No, I think I would have still tried to strike with him. I think I just would have abandoned one submission attempt I had, and I would have worked a lot more on my takedown defense. I think at the time I was just so complacent that there's no way. I was thinking, there's no way a jiu-jitsu guy's going to take me down. You know what I mean? If he takes me down, he's going to be pulling guard. And I was actually surprised that he hit me with a double leg, put me on the cage, and took me down.
So what would you do differently?
I think just work on my takedown defense and really focus on frustrating him and making him tired before I went in for my finish.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think if you did that again and had a rematch with him that you would take the fight?
Right now, I'd whoop his ass.
So is that something that you think you'd like to do? Like, could you see that fight happening in the future? If you moved up to 145?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
There's no point. You know what I mean? It's a moot point now. I mean, other than just good old-fashioned revenge, it does nothing for my career. It does nothing for my record. You know what I mean? It would. I mean, other than just like I said, old-fashioned revenge, getting that win back.
Yeah, I think that's what would be cool because he's the only guy that's managed to beat you, and then you could beat him back. So it'd be cool if you had a rematch and won.
I just, other than just avenging it, man, I really don't see it progressing anything in my life as far as fighting goes. It would be more of a subconscious, success thing.
Mm-hmm. So, where do you think your career is going to progress now? Like, if you do you think you'll be fighting in the UFC? Is that something you'd like to do, or do you just want to renew your contract with the MFC?
No, absolutely want to go to the UFC. You know what I mean? When you're a little kid playing t-ball, every kid dreams of playing in the MLB, right? So,
Yeah.
or when you're playing Pop Warner football, every kid dreams of playing for the NFL. They don't want to go play Canadian football or play for the UFL, the United Football League. You know what I mean? These are organizations that 90% of people never heard of. Unless you're in sports, you've never heard of those industries. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, they want
I
the
mean,
big names.
I would absolutely love to go fight for the UFC. It's just the natural progression of things. You know what I mean? I'm sure Sam Alvey wanted to go to the UFC. I'm sure Anthony Hamilton wanted to go to the UFC. So, I mean, it's only natural to want to be there.
Do you think you will be?
Oh, absolutely. It's a matter of time and a matter of you know the right circumstances. I think right now what I've got going as far as momentum is really good. I have a great team. I have a great manager. My family's on board with everything, and I just think it's people are starting to know who I am. You know what I mean? I'm ranked top 50 in the world, and 49 people that are above me are either in Bellator, ONE FC, or the UFC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And World Series of Fighting. So I mean it's everyone that's on a major TV network that's ahead of me.
Yeah, so it's only a matter of time until you're up there with them.
Oh, absolutely. Anyway. You know what I mean? And the thing is like they've called me twice already. I've been at the.
Or the UFC has called you twice?
10 days before my Ryan Benoit fight, UFC called me to fight Rafael Assunção, June 18th. Down in Brazil. And I was like, you know what, I would love to, but I just signed a contract and a bout agreement to fight, May 10th. And I said, and that's a year-long contract, so I'm in that. And the night before my Tito Jones fight, Sean Shelby called my teammate Jordan Roop, and he was like, "Hey, Roop, you train with that Birchak kid?" And he's like, every week, 5 times a week. And he's like, well, if he wins this fight, I think he's got a good spot, an opportunity, to be with us. So I mean, it's been happening. It's just I've had my obligations with the MFC. I've loved competing for them and putting on a show on Access TV. Being able to fight internationally and saying I'm an international competitor is something I've always wanted to check off my bucket list. So I didn't get to do it with wrestling. I wanted to go to the Olympics and stuff or Worlds and travel the world wrestling, but I'm able to do that in MMA. And like I said, I think it's just a matter of time till I'm able to sign on that dotted line with the UFC.
Yeah, it sounds like it, especially now that you're not really bound to the MFC anymore. It sounds like only a matter of time until we're going to be watching you on the UFC. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, man. You know what I mean? And it's it's a little bit of a tearjerker to see Benoit. I throttled Benoit, and then he comes back to Legacy, fights once, and then gets he gets his UFC contract. And let me tell you all the tears I shed Thanksgiving morning when I realized that he got fight of the night bonus, and because Josh Sampo didn't make weight, he got another fight of the night bonus, making his purse $108,000.
Really? $108,000?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
You can assume that he went in like at 4-4 for his UFC contract, and then he got two $50,000 fight of the night bonuses.
Wow. Did you get a fight? Did you get a fight of the night bonus as well for that? For when you fought Benoit?
No, MFC. No. The MFC doesn't give out any bonuses. They just give out a little plaque. But I did get fight of the night, and me and him were the only non-UFC fighters on Access TV's fight of the year candidate. So it was like me and Ryan Benoit, Diego Sanchez versus Gilbert Melendez, Luke Rockhold versus Vitor Belfort, and then Mark Hunt and who was it? Bigfoot Silva?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you think you'll be in your career in 10 years? Do you think you'll still be fighting, coaching, a retired champion? Like, what would you like to do?
In how many years?
10.
In 10 years, yeah, retired. I mean, that's something. By 10, I mean, I'm 28 now. If I'm 38 and still fighting, it better be one of the hallowed UFC runs like BJ just had. You know what I mean? Or or like Chuck Liddell. But if God forbid, I make it to the big show and I go 0-2, I'm not going to try to get back in. I've made my run. I think my health and my family are more important than trying to resurrect a fighting career that may not be going anywhere, maybe going somewhere. But I think I really teaching kids and coaching and like I said, paying everything forward is something that I'd really like to do. But definitely in 10 years, I'm still going to be involved in the sport. It just may not be as an active fighter.
Okay. So is there anything that you would like to say to any friends, family, sponsors, fans listening to this interview?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it without, my family. My mom, she took me every day to wrestling practice to eventually, give me the building blocks to be a great mixed martial artist. My fiance, Mercedes White, who also is the co-owner of Luta Elite Sports Management. She's the CEO and creator of it, and she's got some of the best sponsors on board. Contract Tailor Clothing, who's my main clothing sponsor. Mentum Eyewear, Oral IV, My Urban Swagger out of Dubai is my custom jewelry sponsor. They're the ones that actually created and made the MFC Championship ring for me. I got to thank Sopalicious.com and just everybody that's ever helped put their hand on my back to push me up that hill, man. Thank you guys.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much for your interview. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
For sure, man. Thank you. You had some good questions, bro.
Oh, thank you. So, within a day or two, I'll have it edited. It'll be right on the top of the front page of the site fighterempire.com. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I'll send you the link through Facebook. I can send Mercedes White the link too as well.
Yeah, please, because she'll put it up on her website. She'll put it up on my website, and we'll be sure to pump that interview and really get it out there.
All right, sounds good. I didn't realize you were engaged to Mercedes White.
Yeah, man, she's my main squeeze.
I was actually wanting to do an interview with her as well, but she's done so much. She's a fighter. She owns her own company. She's a ring girl. It's pretty interesting. I was wanting to ask her a few questions.
Let me tell you, she's probably one of the most interesting females in the industry. She's done it all. She runs my household. She gets me sponsors. She's the mother of my kids. She trains. She fights. We're trying to get her to come back here soon and get back in the cage and stuff. So, I'm pretty sure she'd be down to do an interview with you.
All right. Okay, cool. Just, could you ask her for me? See if she would be up for it?
Hey, you want to... Hold on. Hey, you want to do an interview with Fighter Empire? She's laughing in the chair.
Oh, she's right there?
She's down. Message her and she'll definitely get in touch with you.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, brother. Sounds good, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good night.
All right. You too. Bye.